All right, Steve. How you doing?
I'm good. I apologize. I know at Air Force everything is very disciplined, and we were supposed to have you on at 3:45, and you called in early. I mean, early's on time in your neck of the woods, right at 3:39. You're like, let's go.
I was going to say that was some short break that you had.
Damon tried to sell a short break. Our breaks are about 6 minutes.
Exactly. I was like, wow, that's some commercial break.
Well, give us a compliment. We're doing well. We're actually selling a lot of ads. We got us
exactly. That's what I mean. I'm happy for you guys.
Good. I'm glad. I did not realize that you're actually. I knew you went to Princeton. I did not know you were a Jersey Shore guy because I am as well. I'm from Monmouth County. My parents actually in Middletown, Middletown South, and near CBA, probably 3 miles from CBA. Yeah,
I know. I went to high school in Toms River, but I grew up on the beach. So.
Yeah. Toms River East. The great thing about your background, I've always said, listen, if I could afford now to work all the time at the Jersey Shore, I would be there. But you came from nice areas. Like Toms River's beautiful. And then when you went to school, I don't think people have any idea when they hear about New Jersey. They're like, they think of Elizabeth, and nothing against it, but North Jersey can get a little rough. Princeton is beautiful.
Yeah. It's the nicest. They say it's the nicest college campus in the country, and it's an unbelievable place. It is a beautiful place. And that's like your point. That's true of all New Jersey, though. Just don't fly into Newark and go 10 miles north.
There you go.
Fly into Newark and go 10 miles in any other direction. You're like, whoa, this is the Garden State. Wow, there is a beautiful beaches. But don't tell anybody that. And it is the best pizza and the best Italian food and the best Jersey tomatoes. Yes.
I don't think we can go down this path because it'll be like 20 minutes on pizza. I had a pizza discussion last week on Radio Row at the Super Bowl with Buddy Velastro, who's got his restaurant here. He's the cake boss. And he broke down how he makes Jersey-style pizza here, and it was like talking to a chemist.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Well, hey, it is the best pizza. There's some places in Trenton and in the Shore that are unbelievable.
So speaking of beautiful places, the Academy in Colorado Springs, every time I go there, I'm kind of blown away by the scenery. And this may be a very elementary, dopey question, because I think most kids that you're targeting to come to Air Force already have an idea of what it is. But are there times when you bring guys in to recruit for basketball and they are kind of blown away by the surroundings in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, we recruit guys from Texas, and, we have our places where we are successful in getting kids. And you got to get a kid who loves to play basketball, who's a good player. Obviously we don't recruit the same level or kids that the Mountain West schools do. They don't even recruit high school kids anymore. We still do. That's all I can recruit. But those kids come here and they're like, wow, geez, this place is really nice, and obviously if you value education, if you love basketball and you value education, well, you get to play basketball in the highest level in the Mountain West, and it's the highest it's ever been, and you get an unreal education, and like you said, in a great place at a nationally, known institution.
Mountain West Conference Tournament's coming up the 10th to the 16th in March. You can get your tickets up at the Mountain West website, the MW.com, or go directly to UNLVtickets.com. So you have a second meeting coming up against UNLV. That first meeting, that has to be one of those nights where you're like, this offense, Pete Carrill's offense, worked on both ends of the floor to perfection. What was that like for you watching it against UNLV?
Well, we've played at different times this year in that manner. Our issue is the ability to sustain it, the ability to do it, half to half, the ability to do it, 4-minute section to 4-minute section. We're not there yet. You know what I mean? We're younger than everybody. In a lot of ways, we're weaker than everybody. We're younger than everybody. We have less experience than everybody, so that's a factor. As you know, all these teams are really good teams, but we have the ability, and our guys don't lack confidence. It's just putting the whole piece together of having the experience of really learning how to do it for 40 minutes, and we did it that night. And I don't believe UNLV played their best basketball. But I know we played the best that we've played, and when you play the best that you can play and you sustain it, well, that's when sometimes you find the other team not playing as well.
It's I don't even know if it's a unique conference. You can tell me if I'm wrong on this. I guess matchups are super important in all conferences, but I find from covering UNLV that style-wise, they always have trouble with you guys. For some reason, the last 11 games against New Mexico can't find a way to beat UNLV. And then San Diego State is just awesome in general, but UNLV's they're like 2-22 the last 24 games. How big are matchups? And especially for you guys, as you go around the league, you go into some games, you're like, my God, we don't flow the way we do against other teams.
Well, I mean, it's definitely matchups, and I think the real thing is it's a matchup every single night. You know what I mean? There's no, obviously us and San Jose State right now are behind, but, San Jose State's not a bad basketball team. They have good players. Tim's a good coach. It's just that in this league, right, every team is really good. There's no nights off, you know what I mean? There's no team that really helps you. Like right now, okay, we might be the one that we help you, and maybe Santa, but by and large, every night out on that court, you got to play really good. The other team has 22, 23, 24-year-olds across the board. They've played 100 and some odd college basketball games. They've played together. And the games are just battles, and it's who can handle that. Who can handle that matchup that does well. And I think over time here, what you've seen is teams remain old. You know what I mean? Because nobody graduates. COVID stays. Everybody gets an extra year.
Yes.
Yes. As everybody's old, what you're seeing is everybody, a lot more teams can handle that grind. You know what I mean? A lot more teams. We're up to 6. UNLV's won 5 in a row. Come on. I mean, they're really good. Yep. In my opinion, you throw those 7 teams in, that's 7 teams every single night. And then you tell me Wyoming's next. Well, Wyoming's good. It's like, so all that's happened is the depth of the league has just, gotten to be so deep. And as I say that, it doesn't change year to year, during this time frame, because everybody gets their 5th year. Everybody gets the COVID year. Not many guys leave, and when they go to replace somebody, they replace them with the 22-year-old grad transfer or transfer from some other school that's played 3 years already. So, teams have been able to maintain their age and experience, and that's enabled them to develop this edge that every team in this league sort of has.
Coach, you mentioned the depth of the conference. Do you think that when it comes down to tournament selection time, that the Mountain West Conference will get its due and people will recognize how deep of a conference this is with really good teams?
Yeah, I do. I mean, when you look across the national landscape, when you look at how many teams we have in the top 30, and who does that compare to? SEC, Big Ten, you know what I mean? When you look at who's got more top 50 teams, and there's only 3 other conferences that have as many as we do, and we're talking about 6. And then I'll say again, and you're telling me UNLV's number 7? I mean, so, there's not many conferences that can say they have that kind of depth. And when you have that kind of depth, I think everybody recognizes it, you know what I mean? Sometimes when you only have 3 and 4, well, it's not recognized. We got 6 and UNLV 7, and I think everybody in the country knows it because the sort of stats prove it.
TheMW.com is where you go to get your Mountain West Conference tourney tickets. You can go directly to UNLVtickets.com. Joe Scott, Air Force coach, is on with us. Last 2, we can make these pretty quick. In all your matchups, when you look at a certain team, who's the team that you guys had the toughest time matching up against, like you're most impressed by and might be the favorite to win this?
Well, for us, I would say that, Boise State gives us problems. Just, again, I think along with San Diego State, just the physical nature, just the 40 minutes of, and, I'm not saying anything about the officials, but the way games get officiated, the level of physicality, in this league is absolutely ridiculous. And, because of that, those 2 teams have shown that they play that way. They got good players. They're well coached. They play hard. And, for us right now, that style, that style hurts everybody. They've been at the top of the league the last, X amount of years.
Yep.
So I would say that as it relates to us.
Last 30 seconds, most explosive player in the games that I get to watch, around UNLV, Isaiah Stevens has just been a bear. He has taken over games against UNLV. Who's the guy you look at and you're like, my God, I'm going to face him?
Well, I have about 12.
Yeah. There you go.
But the one you say is he's just a really good basketball player, Isaiah Stevens. He's always under control. He doesn't force anything. You never get him out of his game. And when you have a point guard like that, that just means you have a real good chance to be, to have a really good team. But there's so many guys in this league. Forget about the kid Degenhart from Boise State. I'm not going to say explosive, but he could be like a version of Isaiah Stevens. You know what I mean? Like a bigger. He's not a point guard, but he's 6'7", 6'8". You don't speed him up. His game travels. He plays the same way all the time, and he's just a really good basketball player.
Coach, we appreciate helping us out with the preview, and we'll actually see you next week in Colorado Springs. So thanks for the time.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys.